Let me ask you something, and don't answer this lightly. Have you ever loved someone who pulled away the moment things became real? Someone who stayed calm, controlled, and composed, yet emotionally vanished the moment vulnerability entered the room? Someone who didn't reject you outright, but slowly made you question your worth, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't know how to stay? That experience doesn't just hurt. It confuses strong people. It makes confident people overextend. It turns emotionally healthy individuals into versions of themselves they don't recognize, chasing clarity, chasing reassurance, chasing consistency. And the most painful part, you can feel that something is there, but you can't reach it. Here's the truth most people never hear. Avoidant personalities don't lack love. They lack emotional safety with intimacy. They learned early, sometimes without words, that closeness equals risk. That needing someone means losing control. That emotions are unpredictable, overwhelming, and unsafe. So when they love differently. And if you don't understand how they express love, you'll misinterpret silence as rejection, distance as disinterest, and fear as indifference. Today, this is not about chasing love. This is about recognizing it. Because once you understand how avoidants show genuine attachment, you stop fighting their nature, and you start leading the dynamic with calm, clarity, and self-respect. They stay when its uncomfortable avoidants are wired to associate emotional intensity with danger. When conversations deepen, when expectations rise, when vulnerability enters the space, their nervous system reacts as if something is being taken from them. Distance becomes instinct, silence becomes protection, withdrawal feels safer than explanation. That's why so many people mistake avoidant behavior for coldness when in reality, fear is simply reacting faster than love can speak. But something profound happens when an avoidant truly cares. Even as the internal alarm sounds, they pause. They hesitate before disappearing. They feel the urge to retreat. But they don't erase you. They don't disappear permanently. Instead, they regulate, take space if needed, and then return. That return is not accidental. It means the connection is strong enough to interrupt a lifelong survival pattern. Staying doesn't look perfect for an avoidant. It may look like silence before clarity, space before reconnection, or discomfort before expression. They may struggle to articulate what they feel. They may appear emotionally clumsy or uncertain, but despite that internal struggle, they choose not to abandon the connection. And for someone built around self-protection, presence is not passive, it is courageous. Staying costs them something. It requires emotional energy, awareness, and a willingness to sit with feelings they've spent years avoiding. This is not convenience. This is effort. And effort, especially when staying is uncomfortable, is the clearest indicator of love for an avoidant personality. So when conflict arises and they don't shut the door completely, when they come back to finish the conversation, when they acknowledge tension instead of denying it, recognize the weight of that moment. Love here is not loud reassurance. It is the quiet decision to remain when leaving would feel easier. And that decision speaks louder than words ever could. They let you see their inner conflict avoidants are masters of emotional control. They know how to appear composed, logical, and unaffected, even when something inside them is shifting. Control gives them safety. Certainty gives them stability. So when emotions arise that can't be neatly categorized or explained, they experience internal conflict they would rather process alone. When an avoidant begins to reveal confusion, when they admit feeling torn, unsure, or overwhelmed, something meaningful is happening. They may not fully understand their emotions. They may struggle to name what they feel or why your presence affects them so deeply. This is not emotional weakness. This is emotional honesty breaking through years of self-protection. Inner conflict is destabilizing for an avoidant because it challenges their autonomy. Wanting closeness while fearing dependence creates internal tension they don't know how to resolve. So, when they share that struggle with you, they are trusting you with something vulnerable. They are saying, "I don't have control over this, and I'm letting you see it." This openness doesn't always sound polished. It may come out fragmented or incomplete. They may pull back briefly after sharing, needing time to recalibrate. But the act of opening up, however imperfect, is a major step forward. It means connection feels safer than isolation. When an avoidant lets you see their inner conflict, they are no longer hiding behind certainty or distance. They are inviting you into their emotional reality. And in that moment, love is not expressed through commitment or certainty. It is expressed through trust. They make space for you in their life. Avoidants organize their lives around independence. Their routines, habits, and personal time are protected because autonomy feels like safety. Obligation feels threatening. Expectation feels constricting. That's why too much closeness can feel like losing themselves. So when an avoidant begins to make space for you, this signals a profound internal shift. It may begin quietly, adjusting schedules, checking in before making plans, considering your needs without being asked. These changes are intentional. They require emotional value. They may not label the relationship or verbalize commitment. Instead, they demonstrate it through action. They invite you into their routines, their environment, their decision-making. They allow your presence to influence their world without feeling consumed by it. Avoidants don't integrate people casually. Every step of inclusion requires negotiation between independence and connection, so when they choose to involve you, they are signaling trust. Making space is how an avoidant says, "You matter to me," without words. It's commitment expressed through adaptation. And adaptation is love in motion. They feel the impact of your absence. Avoidants often process attachment in hindsight. When someone is consistently present, emotionally available, and accommodating, the connection can feel stable, but not urgent. Without contrast, awareness doesn't form. When your energy shifts, when you stop overgiving, stop initiating everything, and stop centering your life around them, something changes. The absence is subtle, but it is felt. What once felt guaranteed now feels uncertain. That uncertainty creates awareness. They reflect, they feel, they re-engage, not because they want control, but because they finally recognize value. This isn't manipulation, it's emotional processing. Avoidants often recognize attachment only when emotional equilibrium is disrupted. When they respond to your absence with presence, effort, or initiative, it signals genuine attachment. Love emerges not through pursuit, but through realization. They try. Even when it's hard, avoidants don't fear relationships. They fear emotional exposure. Love challenges the identity they've built around self-reliance. That's why love feels uncomfortable for them. Trying doesn't look perfect. It looks inconsistent. It looks slow. It looks like effort despite fear. They reflect. They adjust. They grow. And most importantly, they choose to. This effort is voluntary. It cannot be forced. When an avoidant tries, it's because the relationship matters enough to stretch for. Love for an avoidant is not ease, it is willingness. Here's the most important truth. Understanding avoidant love is not about accepting less. It's about recognizing effort without abandoning your standards. You don't chase, you don't convince. You don't collapse your boundaries, you remain grounded. Because love is not proven by intensity, it's proven by consistency over time. And the strongest energy you can bring into any relationship is not need, it's self-respect. When you stand whole, calm, and emotionally regulated, you become safe. And safety is what allows an avoidant to love fully, not because you demanded it, but because you inspired it.